Hello everyone, welcome to Top 10 Character Moments. Today we're breaking down my list for the top 10 best Kevin McCallister moments. Just remember this is my personal list so you don't have to agree with it, but I ask you respect my opinions as I will respect yours. Also, in case you guys missed last week's episode, I have an important announcement. Unfortunately for the next two Fridays, December 30th and January 6th, there won't be any top 10 videos. With the holidays coming up, I'm gonna be super busy and we'll have a lot of catching up to do. Good news is, there will still be content on my Sector for Nerds YouTube channel, so if you want more content from me, be sure to stay tuned there. And I'll still do some community posts here and there on this channel to keep you guys in the loop and to give you guys some content. This is my holiday special episode, you guys, so without any further ado, let's get into some honorable mentions for good old Kevin. Here we go. Oh, and make sure you guys like and subscribe. First up, the toothbrush question. Kevin goes into the store to buy a toothbrush and asks a very valid question. Was it approved by the American Dental Association? I mean, the employees brushed it off, but if it ain't approved by the American Dental Association, I ain't buying that thing either. Next up, escaping the police officer. This scene is a continuation of that toothbrush moment. Kevin said if it ain't approved by the American Dental Association, I'm taking it for free. A police officer chases after him, but Kevin invades him by sliding on ice while the officer got tripped up by a dude with a hockey stick. Next up, asking Santa for his family back. This is a very touching moment. Poor Kevin misses his family so much that he's willing to not receive presents for that year just to get them back. And finally, spending $967 on hotel room service. It's actually quite impressive. Hey, it could have been worse. It could have been like $968. You gotta find the positives where you can. Now, the other thing to remember is this movie was made back in what, like the early 1990s? So like $968 then is like $10,000 today. All right, you guys, let's get into the top 10 list itself. You all ready? Here we go. At number 10, giving Pigeon Lady a turtle dove. Earlier on in Home Alone 2, Mr. Duncan gives Kevin 2 turtle doves and tells him to keep one and give the other to a very special person. So the person he decides to give it to is the Pigeon Lady. I think it's cool because Kevin fulfills the promise of not forgetting her. As long as they both have one, they'll always remember the other. At number 9, going grocery shopping. He doesn't know how to tie his shoes, but he can definitely do shopping. He's a weird but perfect balance between an adult and a kid. He explains to the cashier where his parents are and why not to tell her where he lives. And that's because she's a stranger.
You're a stranger.
At number 8, doing the cool jerk. Whoever thought that recording your uncle singing in the shower would actually come in handy. Oh, and also shout out to Grandma Penelope for providing that inflatable clown. Together, those two things were enough to fool Mr. Hector into thinking it was a real person in the shower. I love how even after he ran right into the stool, he felt the need to pick it up even though it wouldn't have mattered because it's not like anyone didn't know he was in there. Oh no, I've been caught. I gotta run. Oh, I ran into the stool. All right, I'm just gonna put this back. All right, I'm out of there. At number 7, giving money to Mr. Duncan. Granted, I don't think it was his money to begin with, but surely it's the thought that counts. Now, at the time, we didn't know that Mr. Duncan was actually the one Kevin was talking to, but he explains how all the money that the store makes that day, Mr. Duncan will take that money down to the children's hospital. So Kevin gives him some money, and that's also what prompts Mr. Duncan to give him the turtle doves that we talked about earlier. At number 6, the house party. In Home Alone 1, when Kevin realizes there are burglars in his neighborhood, he has to prepare to make sure they don't invade his house. So he sets up a giant house party with all the lights on and a bunch of mannequins and cardboard cutouts to help make it look like there were people at home. And to his credit, it worked. Number 5, pranking the hotel staff. The scenes where Kevin uses the films with Gangster Johnny to talk to people are some of my favorite scenes in the Home Alone movies, and it's the same payoff every time. People running in fear of Johnny and his Tommy gun, and it's funny every time. Mr. Hector and his colleagues crawl away while telling people, "Stay in your rooms, this is an emergency, there's an insane guest with a gun," while everyone looks at them in visible confusion. At number 4, pranking Marv with firecrackers. This is my favorite of the prank scenes because this is the one Kevin ups his game. Not only did he play the movie, but he also lets off firecrackers in a pan for an even louder bang. And as the saying goes, keep the change, you filthy animal. At number 3, his conversation conversation with Old Man Marley. This scene was the calm before the storm. Kevin goes into the church, sits down, and then realizes he's in there with the old man that's freaked him out on several occasions, but then gets confused when the guy is nice to him. They get into a two-part conversation, one about Kevin and his family, and the other about Old Man Marley and his son. They both really help each other figure out what they need to do next. It's a nice discussion. At number 2, setting up the traps. Both start with Kevin running to his base of operations, whether it's his house or his aunt and uncle's place. Both scenes have that amazing John Williams music playing, shouts out to the legend. And then comes the second best part of what Home Alone is, and that's seeing this little boy prepare to defend himself against the wet bandits. But what's the number 1 best part of what Home Alone is, you might ask? Well, that's a perfect segue into my favorite part of Home Alone and my favorite of the Kevin McCallister moments. Springing the traps. What's not to love about this stuff? It made me laugh as a kid and it makes me laugh today. Kevin is a mad genius. The first movie, it felt like the traps were merely meant to defend himself from the wet bandits, where it felt like the second movie he was actually trying to kill them. And in the end, a kid always wins against 2 idiots.
Don't you know a kid always wins against 2 idiots?
So there you have it, guys. That's my list for the top 10 Kevin McCallister moments. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite Kevin moments are and why. Also, just remember, guys, over the next 2 weeks, there will not be any top 10 character moments videos, but then going forward, you guys, I've got some amazing top 10 videos planned for when we come back from this 2-week hiatus. We're going to have characters such as Princess Leia Organa from Star Wars, we're going to have Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so many more. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
Don't you know a kid always wins against 2 idiots?